not be Mother's Day weekend in real life, but for the Winstel group, it is. It's the Dodge Charger 500 from none other than the legendary Darlington Raceway, the lady in black, the track too tough to tame, hosts the Winstel Cup Series here tonight. Welcome everyone to AVN's coverage of the Winstel Cup Series from Daytona to Atlanta all year long. I'm Carmen, Sienna alongside me in the production booth. Once again, Anity Pulsatrix as we get ready for a race here in South Carolina. 1.366 miles is a lap around here in Darlington Raceway, the oblonged racetrack here, not symmetrical by any strength of the imagination. We got qualifying coming up here shortly. 3 drivers, at least, will be going home here tonight. Before we even get to the race, things are going to be very difficult for the field as we get into this event. We're glad you're with us here for the race here. 60 laps, going to be a sprint. But it's not going to be an easy sprint. It's going to be physical. It's going to be demanding. It's a track unlike any other. Some have tried to replicate it. You look at the Twin Rimotegi circuit over in Japan as a key example of those that try to replicate just how unique this racetrack is. Turns 3 and 4, wide, fast, flowing, can run multiple lanes. We get those photo finishes out of turn 4. Turns 1 and 2 though, a lot sharper, a lot tighter, a lot easier to tag the wall in turns 1 and 2. So it's going to be a pretty wild time here tonight. Driver's meeting blaring over the radio for the drivers, so they get to go through the final tips and tricks here. This is a track where hitting the wall is imperative for you to avoid tonight. It's going to be especially imperative for those that are trying to get their way into the field. As we mentioned before, 46 cars trying to get their way in here in Darlington. And it is not easy at all. Ask some drivers like Hayden Reethus, the 89 car, who has yet to make a race this season, how difficult it is to make it in the Winstel Cup Series field. This is race 8. He's tried every race so far this season. Can he break through here today? Riding on board, this is with the 2 Evan Locke, the Team Penske driver. Riding right now, and got a really loose run out of turn 4. He's going to come to a stop in the turn number 1. Now riding on board, kind of looking further down the order here, getting around Christina Ryan. This is Andrew Ratcliffe. He's in a brand new paint scheme here today. Gone is the red, in with the greenish yellow on that number 19 machine going into this event. There you go. A good look at what that car looks like from the outside looking in. You look here. As I mentioned before, this is technically Mother's Day weekend for the Winstel group. They don't race Mother's Day in reality. Part of our extended off week period that's coming up in May. But you're going to see a lot of Mother's Day throwback schemes here. No actual throwbacks. This was the era before the throwback night came into play. So you're not going to see everyone doing that here. The series itself already much of a throwback. You see Jose Solis Jr. coming out last time out as the race winner. A huge fuel save game for Jose Solis Jr. Can he go back-to-back? Currently 22nd fastest on the leaderboard here. A 29.912 on the board for Solis. He's going to have to find a lot more time to be competitive for that race win again here tonight. Front of the board is Ryan Andrew. Moving into the 01 in the number 1, we've got the return there. Thomas Lewandowski was in the 21 for Wood Brothers Racing back last season. Now in the number 1, replacing the car vacated by Jonathan Hernandez when Hernandez moved to Hendrick Motorsports, so he's coming down pit lane. It's great to have him back in this field as well. He's going to be competitive. Right now he is in the top 20 in the times at the moment, sitting 18th fastest. So he's slotting right back in with very minimal race rust. Qualifying is set to begin momentarily. 1 lap is what these drivers get. You tag the wall, your lap's invalidated. That's the rules. This is a track where you need to also run the outside lane to be the fastest. So you're flirting with a lap invalidation, and if you're especially dangerous, flirting with going home. Here in Darlington, First car on track, Evan Melanson, 36, will kick things off across this qualifying session. Melanson locked in. He is one of those that are in the top 35. He's going to see what he can do here tonight. For the stats at the bottom of the screen, those have not been updated since Daytona. I'll have to get those updated for North Wilkesboro or after the bye week for Easter to get all that taken care of and updated for you. But Melanson definitely looking for a better result here. He has not really had a breakthrough race as of yet. In practice, he was only 38th fastest. So he's needing to find some time somewhere in this racetrack, and it's a track where time is hard to, it's easy to find, hard to get, is the typical rule of thumb here. And you see that sawing at the wheel. This car not stable in the slightest. Melanson comes out of turn 4 to see what he can do. Across the line he goes. This is 29.553. Will not hold up for Paul. Mike Rasmus immediately proving that point correct. Kyle Benson goes top of the board as well. There's the 0-0 for Mike Rasmus. Jose Solis Jr. goes top of the board, 29.474. Expecting those times to fall again as we go through qualifying here. On track now. That was a validation there for the 01. Going to be trouble there. This 43 is Steve Brown. Across the line, 29.737, but he's trying to make the field as well with the 01 tagging the wall of Ryan Andrew. Going to be sketchy to see how he plays out in this field. There's the 11, Anthony Krobach. Right now on his lap, seeing what he can do in that 11 for Joe Gibbs Racing. What does that Monte Carlo have in store for it here? Looking for another good result at a track that is notoriously difficult. Only enough right now for 18th fastest for the 11 crew. Now on track, also in the number 8, Parker Alexander. Going to see what he can do in that Budweiser Chevrolet. Right now, Alexander coming to start his lap, as is Brandon Cruz. Number 20, that Home Depot Chevrolet, beginning a lap momentarily. Here comes the 99. Coming around the bend now. This is Craig Lautenslager. Office Depot for Taurus. And starting his lap. A lot of drivers starting lap times right now. Ratcliffe jumps up to the 14th position. See what he can do here. Alexander finishing his lap. Goes 14th fastest for Alexander on board with Lautenslager. For Taurus, for Roush Racing, across the line to finish the lap. 27th for the Office Depot Taurus. Now looking at Cruz. Brandon Cruz went 33rd fastest, now 34th fastest, more time slotting in. Have many cars left to run here. Emily Howe is not one of them. Emily Howe, I believe, has already set a lap time. I'd have to double check just to make sure. Emily Howe has not set a lap time. So Howe running right now to see what she can run. And this is to finish her lap. See where she can get. Enters this race top 5 in points. Goes 13th fastest. Not a bad lap for the former Winstel 400 champion. Also on the racetrack is Chris Bishop in the number 12. Alex Chilcutt just moved up to 13th place, so he currently joins Emily Howe in that 7th row. Jeremy Davis, Watts a professional, tagged the wall in his qualifying lap. Here comes Chris Bishop, number 12. Where does he land? Not good enough. Out of the Dodge Charger 500, 44th for Chris Bishop. Leaves it in the hands of Corey Steinhauser. 55 Chevrolet. See where he can land. Easier said than done. Steinhauser. Leave on his lap now. let Steinhauser finish his lap here. See where he can get. And the wall. See if it invalidates his lap time. You can get away with a little bit if it's just the right rear quarter panel. You can get away without having any incident points. Not that time. You don't get away with it twice, especially. So Steinhauser will start at the back of the field with Jeremy Davis. Your D&Qs, Chris Bishop and Hayden Repus. And Jeremy Davis will be our 44th car due to... Actually, no, we do have 43. Craig Lautenslager, also a D&Q, unfortunately, for the 99 team. So here we go. Jose Solis Jr., Ryan Doucette, Tyler Head, your top three from qualifying. So Solis, we didn't think that time would stand up for pole. It turns out to be exactly what we needed for pole position. So he will lead the field to green, trying to start the race how he finished back in Homestead a week ago. Tyler Head, Jacob Potak, they're in row 2 behind Ryan Doucette, Christian Budd, Evan Locke in row 3. Ryan Andrew, who was fastest in practice, will be in the top 10, row 4, with Brandon McKissick. Kyle Benson and Mike Rasmus in the top 10 is how things round out there here in Darlington for qualifying results. The field has been set and ready to go. So we're going to get ready to get this one going. Evan Melanson, Ashley Kolonix in row 6. Alex Choka, Emily Howe in row 7. Thomas Lewandowski and Sean Peleg in row number 8. Dylan Roberts and Austin Reedy in row 9. It is Parker Alexander and Andrew Ratcliffe in row 10. Kirk Marble and Andrew Ferrinares in row 11. Gabriel Mauricio and Lucas Davila in row number 12. Jonathan Hernandez and Tom Willett will make up row 13. Row 14, Chris Champeau and Steve Brown making the field in that 43 for Petty Enterprises. Nick Doucette and Jordan Barabee in row 15. Barabee in a new ride from the 04 to the 41 for Chip Ganassi Racing. He starts 30th. Brennan McGee and Brandon Cobbinger in row 16. McGee, the Daytona 500 winner earlier this season. Cobbinger trying to make his way forward in what has been a feast or famine season for the rookie. Matt Taylor and Alex Bates in row number 17. At Anthony Krovac and Craig Lautenslager, who is failed to qualify, one of the bottom 3 unprovisional drivers, I guess you should say, out of the top 35 in points. That'll move up Tyler Murray and Philip Snipes. Matt Sisler and Christina Ryan will round out row number 20. Brandon Cruz, Andrew Griesbaum, the last of those to set times that were good enough to get into the show. Hayden Repus, Chris Bishop, not making the show on time. Jeremy Davis using a provisional, so will Corey Steinhauser. They will start 42nd and 43rd in this field. So the 89, the 12, and the 99 failed to make the show here. They will have to try again next week in North Wilkesboro. Everyone else, the pressure begins here in South Carolina. 2 formation laps. You see the lights on the pace car, giving you the indication that we have 2 pace laps to run here. Jose Solis Jr. and Ryan Doucette will kick this field off from the front. There's a good look at the Raceway here in Darlington. Very vintage racetrack here. Very unusual, but also fitting the demands of the terrain. A lot of natural bodies of water surrounding this property. This was built in a time where terraforming was not a thing. So you built around the terrain that you had. Down the back straightaway that now sits as a reminder of yesteryear. Those grandstands, not technically safe to use. Fun fact for those that are wondering why those grandstands are empty. This track will cool down, grip will come to the field, but it does require a lot of patience. Christian Budd will not need as much patience. Starting in the top 5, he is inside row 3 in a brand new looking car just for tonight. very sentimental. I have a die-cast of this exact car, the Carhartt number 17. Wonderful looking car. Christian Budd, the defending champion, still looking for his first win in 2025. He's been close. He's been very close. Is today the day? We've seen a lot of first-time winners in the field come here at Darlington. Solis, Doucette, Head, Potak, Bud, Locke. Your top 6 here. Evan Locke, his best qualifying effort here at Darlington in the Winstel Cup Series. He's going to have a pretty decent run. Outside lanes where you want to be almost immediately. So we're going to see that scramble as everyone tries to find the lanes to run here in Darlington. The pace car is in pit lane. The long approach to the start-finish line, and the green flag has come to an end. We're racing in Darlington. The Dodge Charger 500 is underway. Speed building quickly here at Darlington. The first lap is in the books. Side by side behind Kyle Benson. That's the 00 Mike Rasmus being passed by Ashley Kolonix. Kolonix up to one, starting to get this all lined up here. Kolonix up to the 10th position, just getting into the top 10. Kyle Benson up ahead in 9th, so Kolonix trying to get in. First race of the season for her in this campaign, racing the 45 for Petty Enterprises, teammates with Steve Brown. Safely qualified in after not being locked in to the show. And you see quickly just how much the lane is at Darlington. Very much ride the wall as much as you can. Get a good run down the back straightaway towards the wider turn 3 and 4. Kolonix pulling away from Emily Howe, who's also gone around the 00 of Mike Rasmus. Emily Howe up in 11th, entered this race 4th in points. Being shadowed right now by Alex Chilcutt. Rasmus down in 13th. And then the misfortune, Sean Pellig, the 48, sitting in the 14th position, ahead of Tom Lewandowski. This is the furthest that Sean has gone without an incident to start the race all season. And that's not a great statistic to say about the 48 team with how bad this season has been for the 48. Almost dropped out of the top 35 in points. It's been a matter of perseverance that has kept the 48 team in the top 35 and locked in. Good qualifying position, though, for the 48 crew. And now it's time to just find a way to generate momentum, generate some rhythm and consistency in this race and try to carry it into a track that's going to be just as difficult next week in North Wilkesboro. So this race 16th, up 2 spots, that outside lane benefiting in traffic on that initial start. Here's where patience becomes critical. Passing, not easy here at Darlington. Everyone's defending that outside lane like their life depends on it. So you got to save your tires. You got to really tiptoe and dance try to get this going. You see Alex Chilcutt get around the 15 and immediately check up over driving turns 3 and 4. So a little close between the 15 and the 00. A little bit of contact, a little bit of elbows out. And Emily Howe is going to not fight that one into turn 1 and 2. It's not fun going through 1 and 2 side by side. For those that are wondering, ask Kyle Larson how his day went today, trying to go side by side. On board with Mike Rasmus. Back up one more spot here. He's up to 12th again. Side by side behind Lewandowski. Christian, no, that's not Christian Budd. That is Andrew Reedy. Is that Andrew Reedy? It's Austin Reedy. Just ask On my monitor, I'm looking at Andrew Ferrynares, who's just behind Austin Reedy. Austin Reedy tagged the wall trying to battle with Dylan Roberts. That did not work out for the 77 crew. Andrew Ferrynares, who is in that silver 14 car just behind, making up some ground as well. Side by side, this is for second place. Ryan Doucette being squeezed on the quarter panel by the former champion, Tyler Head, who's going to drive his way around the 13 to get up to P2. And the chase for Jose Solis Jr.'s lead is on. Doucette losing one spot for the first time in 9 laps. Here comes Jacob Potak in the 22 for Bill Davis Racing. Trying to also move up into third. Passing a little bit harder to do in 3 and 4. But you see how conducive it is for those photo finishes we've seen so many times here in Darlington. One of the most classic finishes in Darlington history came in these exact cars. 2003, Ricky Craven beating Kurt Busch by thousandths of a second. We will see battles like that today as well at the end of this 60-lap race. And in order to finish first, you must first finish. That is the goal right now. Tyler Head knows what it's like to win at Darlington, trying to chase down Jose Solis Jr. and deny him a chance of experiencing that of his own. Christian Budd, also familiar with success here in Darlington. It's funny, the champions of the series have typically won here at Darlington Raceway. Gives you a little bit of food for thought as to how the season could progress. You kind of need this racetrack in your pocket to be able to do well. Christian Budd right now still sitting in the top 5 ahead of the 01 of Ryan Andrew. Ryan Andrew fastest in practice, has a great race car behind him. He just needs to find a way to get through there. And a lot of that comes down to strategy calls. When do you come down pit lane? When do you make that call to come down for some fresh Goodyear Eagles? On board with Ryan Andrew, the rookie. From the 33 for Richard Childress Racing to the 01. Bringing back that U.S. Army car for Gen Racing. Tyler Head is closed in on the bumper of Jose Solis Jr. at the front of the field. You see him just up the road as dispatched Ryan Doucette. And you see the camera looking back just at how far away he's pulled away from Doucette in 3 laps. Tyler Head is in his element, racing part-time, not battling for a championship, not trying to make the chase, playing spoiler. See Jose Solis a little bit faster that last time around. Not by much, but by enough to keep the former champion at bay. Solis trying to do something that Tyler Head's already done. Win at Darlington and win here in the championship. Caution has come out. Huge crash. Evan Mellinson up and over. Nick Doucette up and over. Huge trouble. That is the 0 of Alex Chilcutt, the 21 of Tom Willett. Looks like Austin Reedy might have been the cause of this. We'd already flirted with the wall once. Looks like the 45 in the 77 might have something to play here. Looks like we got a replay here, see what's going on. No, there we go. This is with Chilcutt, Colonix, and yeah, that 45 tipping Kyle Benson. Benson saves it. Everyone behind Colonix, though, is where you start seeing it, and you see a huge hit there. Ratcliffe pushing Evan Mellinson into the sky. And that's something you have to break down pretty significantly. We'll need a couple of different angles on that to see exactly what happened, because Andrew Ratcliffe just blew through that pack and sent Evan Mellinson for a wild ride. This is on board with Chris Champeau in the 18. It was already near the back of the field. You see a lot of smoke, a lot of smoke, a lot of smoke. Trying to move. Path was clear, and then it wasn't. Unfortunately for Nick Doucette, he was also trying to do the exact same thing. Champeau beat him to it. I don't think there was a lot of issue with that. They were both on their way trying to slow down without locking up the tires. Nick Doucette, you see the smoke out of turn 2. Everyone going for a wild ride. rough tumble there for Alex Chilcutt as well. There's Evan Melanson as he came to a stop. You see the damage on the rear of that car. Almost all the damage on Evan Melanson's car coming at the rear of that car. On board with Andrew Ratcliffe, who's going to have a really rough shot here. Just didn't get slowed up enough in time. There's Dylan Roberts. Here's a look from the outside. Kirk Marble doing the smartest thing anyone could have done there. Fortunately, was the only one to get away with it. So a lot of cars wounded, trying to get their way through here. So last replay here is we ready to go back green. Kirk Marble, sort of see where everything's like for him. Dylan Roberts with that spin out as well. Marble doing the duck and dodge to get out of the way from all of that incident on lap 14. It is Jeremy Davis, front of the field, did not come down pit lane in that 4 car, leading laps, getting those 5 bonus points. Tyler Head did beat Jose Solis Jr. off pit lane. So Jose Solis Jr. will have to do some work to get around Tyler Head. Everyone has to get around Jeremy Davis. Tyler Head, though, on pit lane, doing what he needed to do. Jacob Potak, 3rd out of pit lane, 4th on the racetrack as we get ready to go back racing. We're right on board with the Bill Davis Racing Dodge for this restart for the Dodge Charger 500. How fitting to be on top of a Dodge for this restart. Green flag is in the air. Away we go again to start lap 18. Let's get back to it here in Darlington. And Tyler Head wasting no time. Trouble! That is the 0-1 of Ryan Andrew in more trouble. Mauricio spun around. Ferrinaire is involved. Trouble further back. And we'll have to break this one down. But Ryan Andrew, the 0-1, his race going south in a hurry. And he's going to be where this caution starts. And we will grab a replay here for you very quickly into turn number 1 as the field has to gather it around again. This is Lucas Davila and the Argentinian's number 34 machine. He gets turned secondary. This is the spin we saw after Ryan Andrews' spin. But a good look here. You see just on board, Davila trying to check up there and gets hit by Jonathan Hernandez in the 25 and then jacked up in the air by Alex Bates. So that's a wild ride. That was further down in the field, though. The 0-1 of Ryan Andrew going to be where this all starts and where the checkups begin here on this restart, right on the restart, too. We'll really set things backwards. Here is Gabriel Mauricio also involved in this incident. A lot closer to the impact here. Ryan Andrew trying to save it. Mauricio also trying to save it after also being tagged. Unfortunately, that Monte Carlo's nose no longer symmetrical. Looking for the 0-1 of Ryan Andrew. I think we're riding on board with the 42 of McKissick. I think this is right behind Ryan Andrew, I do believe. There you go. There's the 0-1 of Ryan Andrew. Yeah. There you go. Ryan Andrew trying to go for the top. Got loose. McKissick was there. And as a result, 13 cars now have more damage than they started that restart with. And again, we'll look here from McKissick's on board. Here we go with Ryan Andrew. He's trying to give void Ryan Doucette, 13 car there, just ahead of him. Yeah, I don't know. That is a lot of bogging down there. Yeah, he goes from 2nd to 4th. That would explain why he slows down all of a sudden. He did not get loose and he did not check out of it. His car did. His car checked out of it. A little bit of engine braking to get that car load up. And unfortunately, you just don't want to do that on a restart. So Ryan Andrew will end up down in the 24th position on this restart. Not a great place for him to be. Lights on the pace car, which means we're going green at the end of this lap. Everyone trying to get sorted further down the order. As you notice, Tyler Head did get ahead of Jeremy Davis, but got ahead of him on the racetrack before the caution came out. So Jeremy Davis went ahead and just came down pit lane, knowing the game was up immediately. So now, the Rabbit has become the chase. It has been the tortoise. Yeah, I was thinking cat and mouse and completely messed up that analogy. But Tyler Head now leads. It's Jose Solis Jr. trying to chase down the former champion. As I mentioned before, winning Darlington bodes well for you trying to go and win the championship here in Winstel. Jose Solis Jr. trying to do just that. Goes to the outside lane. Tyler Head defends the inside on this restart. And Tyler Head wins that battle out. Looked really close. Here comes Potak. Someone else who really wants to have a chance here to win the championship. Would love to have a Darlington win as well. Side by side they go through 3 and 4. Still side by side down the front straightaway. These two have been contenders for the points lead all season long. It's only fitting that here at Darlington, they're side by side right now. Ryan Doucette in 4th. And then you have Christian Budd in 5th, the defending champion, the defending Winstel 400 winner back in January. Looking for his first Winstel Cup Series win this season. Here's Potak side by side. Losing out that battle slowly but surely, staying on the quarter panel, but will give it up into turn 1. Does not want to keep running the inside lane here in turns 1 and 2. It burns the tires up rapidly. See them fan out of turn number 2. Emily Howell trying to get around Mike Rasmus. It's 3 wide. Rasmus in the middle. Sean Pellick in the 48 up near the wall. Trying to not touch it. Rasmus backs out. The 48 and the 15 side by side out of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway. This is in the top 10 now. Pellick for the first time in the top 10 near the halfway point. Trying not to give it up. Emily Howell battling to get into 8th place and clears for 8th place. Pellick in 9th. Rasmuth 10th. Rasmuth under threat from Kirk Marble. Marble trying to make his way into the top 10 ahead of the 41 of Jordan Barabee. Tyler Head is checked out from Solis at the front of the field. So this is where you're starting to see some more of the battles going on here. It's pretty even spacings in the top 5. Outside the top 5, it is absolute bedlam. And you're seeing that. Tag of the wall there for Barabee. Barabee trying to stay ahead of Brendan McGee, the Daytona 500 winner. Brandon Coppinger up 16 places. Sitting in the 14th spot. Ashley Collins in the top 15. Austin Reedy still top 15. There's Coppinger, there you go. I was wrong, he's up 18 spots, even better. On board with Coppinger. Looking back, there's Ashley Collins. And Mother's Day 45. Also a cancer awareness paint. And Coppinger gets spun. Coppinger spun by Reedy. Coppinger spun by Reedy. Caution's out for the 3rd time. And that was about as easy of a spin as you could get. But unfortunately for Coppinger, it undoes a lot of the work he had done the first 28 laps of this race. Coppinger spun by Reedy. Remember, replay from the 77's perspective here in just a moment. We're riding on board with Coppinger as he got spun as they're getting passed by Ashley Collins. Austin Reedy. See if we can get a better angle of that. Not sure if Coppinger came down trying to fill the space ahead of Reedy or if Reedy spun upwards, up the racetrack. See if we can get a little bit better angle here on, there we go, on board the 77, the Kodak Dodge Charger. That's going to be on Coppinger. Coppinger coming down the hill. That's not on Austin Reedy. Austin was there. Brandon trying to come down the racetrack, really trying to grab momentum out of turn 4 after losing it, being passed by Colonix. Unfortunately, Austin Reedy had already filled that space. Here it is in full speed action one more time. Yeah, there's a light spin there. Almost horrible there for both Dylan Roberts and Alex Bates, who are both involved in that first caution. They don't want to have more damage on their cars either. Pit stops underway for most of the field. Jose Solis Jr. stays out. Tyler Head comes down pit lane. Very few cars staying out. Evan Melanson gets the free pass to Aaron's Lucky Dog. Couple drivers in trouble for not following proper pit lane procedure. So Jr. staying out, as did Matt Taylor. Looks like Matt Taylor, I believe, coming down pit lane. So it will leave just 2 cars out on older tires. Solis Jr. and Jonathan Hernandez in the 25. A lot of cars taking 2 tires or fuel only here. Potak and Ryan Doucette among those on the 2 tire only strategy. They have not run a lot of laps on green flag conditions, so the 2 tire stop may be pretty good. You see all the cars with damage coming out of pit lane trying to beat the pace car, and they will. Just barely for Andrew Ratcliffe, who will start at the back of the field for improper pit lane procedure. You see Hernandez, first car a lap down, so he'll start to the inside of the race leader. It'll force the race leaders to stay on the outside lane on this restart. As we have crossed the halfway point, we are on lap 31 of 60. We will start lap 32 when we go green. On board with Kyle Benson, the M&M's 38. Robert Yates Racing. Teammates with ABN's own Christina Ryan. Christina Ryan not having nearly as good of a race right now as Benson. Benson started 9th. He's been top 10 all race long. He's ahead of Evan Locke, the Team Penske number 2, the Blue Deuce. And we're right on board on this restart to see how Kyle Benson handles the additional traffic in his wake. It is Solis, Potak, and Ryan Doucette, top 3, green flag flies, and away we go. And immediately the 25 of Hernandez just getting out of the way. Get out of the way, get out of trouble. Stay the first car a lap down, get your free pass in the next caution if there is one. Side by side, here comes Potak. Potak to the inside of Solis. Into turn number 1. A little bit of controversy further back behind with Matt Sisler and company, but Solis will lose the lead once again, this time to a different yellow car, the 22, the Dodge Charger of Jacob Potak. Dodge at its sponsored race leads the way. Solis pushing super hard, will almost lose another position to Ryan Doucette. Could lose 3, because here comes Christian Buck. The fight is on. There's Kyle Benson, the 38. We rode on board with him on that restart, and then Tyler Head, a 4-tire stop for him. He's got the freshest tires of the field at the front. Solis down to 4th. He was the only leader to not come down on that pit stop, and it was only an 8-lap difference in tires, but that's what 8 laps means on Goodyear tires. Side by side, that was Sean Pellet getting around Jeremy Davis. So too will the 01 of Ryan Andrew, trying to recover after an early spin. Side by side, Davis will fight him. 2 Chevrolets duking it out, make that 3 Chevrolets. There's the 00 coming around, Mike Rasmus. Front of the field, Jacob Potak trying to bring home a race win for Dodge in the Dodge sponsored race here. Tyler Head getting around Solis, so will Evan Locke. Jose Solis Jr. on the wrong strategy. He was on the perfect strategy last week. It has gone so wrong for the 29 here tonight. 25 laps to go. It's been a wild ride here in Darlington, side by side, further back. Emily Howe gets around Ryan Andrew, who gets clipped by Ashley Collins. Everyone keeps it straight and narrow. Ryan Andrew tagged the wall, bounced off the wall. 45 of Ashley Collins clipped him. And here we go, further up the road. Jordan Barabee clears both Austin Reedy and his teammate, Brandon McKissick. That was a wild turn of events. Coming out of pit lane, the 24 off the pace, off the lead lap. Nick Doucette. Barabee up half of where he started, from 30th to 15th. And the Dodgers are on the charge. There's the 0-0 of Mike Rasmus. Trying to close in now. Side by side. No love lost between these two, but they're going to handle it professionally here. Evan Locke will lose a spot to Sean Peleg and will not be able to get it back into turn 3. Solis coming down pit lane. Most unconventional pit entry on the planet in the Winstel Cup Series, but Solis down pit lane. He will give up the ghost, realize that his strategy not quite working the way he wanted it to. So at the front of the field, it's the 22 of Jacob Potak. Doing everything that he can. Leading the way right now over Ryan Doucette. Lights coming on slowly but surely here at Darlington Raceway. The track getting cooler and cooler. Side-by-side battle. Collins battling Kirk Marble. This is for 12th. Marble in 13th, about to lose a spot potentially to Brandon McKissick, who's got around his teammate Jordan Barabee. Really struggling down the outside lane. Slots up right in front of Barabee. Checks up the 41, but will stop the bleeding. We'll see what happens with Jose Solis Jr. at this point. Off the lead lap, handily off the lead lap here. You lose almost 2 laps on pit lane. Solis out of pit lane right now, but in 37th position. Now you see him. Ahead of Brandon Cruz and a couple of the others that have been wounded in this event. He's going to be faster for a little bit, but he's off cycle and he will need to make another pit stop. Everyone else trying to get to lap 45. If they can do so, they are good to go to the finish. And that seems pretty easy to do. You are the 22 car, if you're the 13, the 17, the 44. The caution now would really kind of pin Jose Solis Jr. on the wrong side of things. He'd be the free pass position. He's the first car a lap down. But it would not be great. We're down the order just outside the top 10. Collins leading the Dodge Armada. 2 Chip Ganassi Dodges, the 42 of McKissick, the 41 of Barabee. Closer to the top 10, up to 11th now. Trying to chase down Emily Howe. Comes Dylan Roberts as well, the 6. For Roush Racing, trying to get around the 41 here. Barabee having a lot cleaner car right now from Dylan Roberts, who's involved in that second caution of the day. Car down pit lane, that's Andrew Ratcliffe. Not a factor. 3 laps down already, will go more. Kirk Marble, though, is a factor. Will come down pit lane exactly at the mark we thought they would go. Lap 45, they're in. So is Parker Alexander, so is Mike Rasmus. Steinhauser coming in this lap. Others beginning to mark their way coming in. Austin Reedy. Also marking their way in. Out of pit lane now, the 07 of Tyler Murray. 15 laps to go. Leaders stay out more. The way this should cycle through, it should cycle through with Solus back in the race lead. Whether or not he can save and get there again to hold on and win here at Darlington is going to be a different story, but he should cycle back out to the race lead at least momentarily. Some of the retirements in this race, only one, Andrew Ferrineres. On board with Reedy once again, still staying out here. Little dance out of turn 4 for the 22 Dodge. More and more cars coming down pit lane. Everyone very hesitant to come down pit lane right now. A caution coming out at any moment could really throw things for a loop. It would not be ideal. Everyone being very wary of that. Also, the way that the strategy worked out last week with so many cars able to make it on fuel on a single stop. Not something many people were anticipating going into this. And that's what we're talking about, caution out. Caution has come out. And it looks like, see if we can gather who it was that caused the caution for the 4th time today. Go back around and see what we get out of all of this. So we'll see if we can track it down here momentarily. I'll see if I can track it down on my end. Production also looking to see what we've got here. This is Christina Ryan, who I do not believe was a factor. I found the moment of caution is not, oh, no. Try to see who this might be. There you go. Emily Howe and Ashley Collins turned by Brandon McKissick. See if we can get a look at that here. Looks like everyone checking up behind Jeremy Davis. Yeah, a little bit of check up there between Evan Locke and Jeremy Davis. They got side by side. Everyone saved it. Very impressively, everyone saved it. But because you had 2 cars sideways, 90 degrees on the racetrack, the caution had to come out to avoid that becoming an even worse problem. On board with Collins. Her perspective, chasing Emily Howe. Just a little bit of a boop. Yeah, that is going to be a little bit of tire smoke there. Didn't hurt anybody. What that does mean is that Jose Solis Jr.'s race is effectively over in terms of trying to win this one. Solis down. They're going to be so this is going to be a longer yellow for those that are kind of following along with us here in Darlington. Mid-pit cycle makes this difficult. Solis also no longer the first. I don't believe he was the first car lap down. I'll have to double check though. Actually, no, it looks like apparently, according to my information, he's already on the lead lap. The issue is that there's so many wave rounds to do. Tyler Head is the race leader. They're holding off on doing the green flag until they do all these wave rounds. So they're verifying that everyone's where they need to be, then waving them off one by one. all the way down to Chris Champeau. Chris Champeau's 35th, for those wondering. If we can, we've not used our graphic. We've got less than 10 laps to go. If we can, let's try to get the top 5 graphic rolling. Get everyone to look at these beautiful race cars, since we've not had a chance to really look at all of them. Tyler Head, Jacob Potak, Jeremy Davis, Evan Locke, Henley Howell. Of course, the graphic's gonna be a little bit glitched out, which is fine. Not worried about that at all. Henley Howell, top 5. Dylan Roberts, Ashley Kolonix, Alex Chilcutt, Steve Brown, Christina Ryan, your top 10 right now, as things sit. Further on the order here, 11th through 15th, going to this restart here. Brandon Coppinger, Brandon McKissick, Brandon Cruz, Brandon, okie dokie. Philip Snipes, Matt Taylor, that's your top 15. Ryan Doucette, Christian Budd, Gabriel Mauricio, Brendan McGee, Jose Solis Jr. in the top 20, all on the lead lap, all got wave rounds here. Matt Sisler, Kyle Benson, Sean Peleg, Alex Bates, Ryan Andrew. You see Solis beginning to drop back. He was the free pass, so he will drop to the end of the longest line. Mike Rasmus, Austin Reedy, Parker Alexander, Tom Lewandowski, Tom Willett, sitting top 30. Chris Champeau, the last car on the lead lap, behind Jordan Barabee, Anthony Krobach, Tyler Murray, and Lucas Davila. There we go. And then we have some of the cars that are lapped down here. Kirk Marble, Corey Steinhauser, Andrew Ratcliffe. Too many Ratcliffes in my inner circle there. Jonathan Hernandez, Evan Melanson, your top 40. Andrew Griesbaum, multiple laps down and out of this race. Nick Doucette still running, trying to gain any points he can. Andrew Ferry there's the first retirement of this race in 43rd. Woo! Try doing that in a minute. On board, Emily Howe. 5th place on this restart, started 14th. In a really good spot. It is Tyler Head, though, in the best spot of all, leading, coming to 7 laps to go. Green flag flies. We've got a shootout on our hands here in Darlington. Trying to find a way around here. This is good. This is where things get so hard. Everyone's on the same tire strategy now. At the end of this race, you've just got to push, and that's what Jacob Potak's trying to do here, trying to get around Tyler Head. Jordan Barabee also trying to do the same thing further down the field and not working out for him. Jacob Potak, though, looking to be a repeat winner. Can he do it? Trying to get to the quarter panel of the 44. Gets to the quarter panel of the 44 out of turn 4. Gonna be close. Side by side. Oh, this could be a photo finish in the making. Tyler Head couldn't hold on to turn 1. Gets right to the underside, over-unders him. They do not have to save tires here. They are pushing all the way through. Jeremy Davis in 3rd, trying to apply pressure, will apply pressure to the former champion Tyler Head. Out of 4. A little bit of contact. Little tight there. Keep an eye on Dylan Roberts. He's making a late run. Oh, car in the wall. Davis in the wall. Trying to keep it out of the wall. Tags the wall again, but everyone getting around him safely. What that does is that has given Jacob Potak clean real estate. Coming to 3 laps to go. Jacob Potak. 1 at Fontana. We've had 5 different winners. Trying to make it the first repeat winner over Tyler Head. And Evan Locke looking at a potential podium at the moment as things stand. Coming to 2 laps to go. Close contest here. McKissick getting around Rasmus. Christina Ryan, who did not have pace for most of this weekend, right now sitting in trouble. Caution's out. Caution's out. And it's Alex Chilcutt. Alex Chilcutt turned around, and this changes everything. Oh dear. Alex Chilcutt ends up being the one turned around. There is a good look at him and what the car is now. That Net Zero car has not had a fun time here tonight. Here we go, looking at it. This is a battle with Christina Ryan. I don't know if they make contact with each other here. Figure it out. Oh, tried clearing himself. And it just wasn't there. And Chilcutt put his hand up saying that was on him. I think he recognized that he did try to clear himself and it just wasn't on. And that did put Christina Ryan and Brandon Commentator together. Thankfully, it looks like minimal damage for the 88 and the 66. They're obviously going to stay out anyway. We got a point of no return restart coming up here. So they're not going to come down pit lane. Very interesting restart coming up here. You see the lights on here in Darlington. Kirk Marble, the free pass. He will be the 36th car on the lead lap. So while we're at it here, we've got a chance to do so. For those that are new to following the Winstel Cup Series, point of no return. It's one overtime restart, one green-white checkered attempt to finish this race under green. There will be no cautions after this. It's 2 laps. Whatever happens, happens. If you cause a crash during this 2-lap period, you'll be moved to the end of the lead lap. There's 36 cars on the lead lap. Don't make a mistake. Don't cause an accident and force yourself to be ended up classified 31st. That's the rule of thumb. But it's our only chance to get this race to finish under green. And for Tyler Head, it's his only chance now to get back to the 22 of Jacob Potak to try to battle for the race win here at Darlington. Big fight field here in Darlington Raceway. 41 cars still running. 43 that started. It has been frantic. It'll be just as frantic next week at North Wilkesboro. Who will carry the most momentum going into North Wilkesboro next weekend? We'll find out. Dylan Roberts on board with him from 4th in that Pfizer. Number 6 for Taurus for Roush Racing. He's looking at Evan Locke. Evan Locke looking for his first podium of the season. If he can hold on to it. Pace car is in pit lane for the final time. And for the final time, we have restarted here in Darlington. It's time to go at it. And you're going to see everyone going to fight for it. Evan Locke driving in his mirrors, immediately losing touch there with Tyler Head. To the white flag. Does Tyler Head have anything for the 22? 1 lap to go in Darlington. Potak leads. Tyler Head on his bumper. Evan Locke further back, trying to hold on to 3rd. Coming out of turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Tyler Head tried to drive himself through the corner. It didn't work. Jacob Potak will come around and win at Darlington, his 2nd win of the season. Great job for Jacob Potak. race winner here at Darlington Raceway. Tyler Head will have to settle for a second place finish. And Evan Locke will come around for his first podium of the season in third, ahead of Dylan Roberts and Emily Howe. But congratulations there between Locke and Potak. Huge move here tonight. Jeremy Davis from 42nd position to 8th. Qualified 45th, didn't set a time in qualifying. Started with this race 42nd. Biggest gainer there for Jeremy Davis. But it's the race winner, Jacob Potak, that has put his stamp of approval on the championship standings. Going into North Wilkesboro next weekend, the momentum is on his shoulders. Pizzasillas Jr., wrong strategy call for him this week, could only get back up to 14th place. Go over our full running results here in a moment. While Jacob Potak gets to celebrate, we will talk to Evan Locke, a third place finisher here tonight, while Jacob Potak does his burnouts. Evan, this is Carmen from the AVN booth. Get a copy.
Oh, you better believe I do.
It finally happened here. It took a lot to get to this point. Change to Team Penske, change to the Blue Deuce, the number 2 Dodge Charger. You get your podium for the first time this season here in Darlington, a long time coming. You had to work for it though. Walk us through it.
Oh man, you have no idea how long it took, and yeah, you're right, I did have to work for it. That was a race of attrition, I gotta say. There were some close calls there, but I thankfully kept it clean and brought it home third.
I mentioned it's been a long time coming. Obviously, it's been something you've been trying to get to at this point here. The pace has been there, the flashes have been there. It's just been a matter of putting it together. At a track this difficult, putting this together, obviously the attrition helps in some regards, but you still need to be able to avoid that melee. What does it say about where you're at this point of the season to get this podium going into a track as hard as Darlington, knowing there's an even tougher track next week that you have to try to do this again at?
It feels great, honestly. Like I used to be completely blind with this track. I had no idea how to run it until I ran Winstel and kind of figured it out, but didn't have the results to prove that I did. Last year was pretty decent, but this year I just felt like I got over that hump of consistency that I've been sorely lacking at the end of races sometimes, and it feels just really, really good. You can probably hear it in my voice.
You can definitely hear at least the exhaustion, trying to duke it out with all these cars near the front of the field here. Podium number 1 out of the way. We're 6 races through this portion of the season. Obviously, we have a long way to go before we get to the chase for the Winstel Cup. The 2 cars slowly crawling its way up into that bubble to talk about potential championship contenders. You look at the races coming up here on the calendar. It's not an easy fight. Obviously, we talk about North Wilkesboro coming up here in a week's time. Charlotte, Montreal, another wild card race coming up there. And then we have a lot of off time before we get to Pocono in June. Is the 2 car in a position right now where the chase is a legitimate conversation for the Team Penske group there for your effort here in 2025? Is the top 10 achievable given what you've been building so far through these first 6 races?
I would say I hope so, because last season this time, as many people know, I was suspended, but I'm hoping that even with my not so great results the past few weeks, that now with this result, it'll be the momentum I need to keep it going and hopefully reach the top 10.
It's a good chance to do so. You enter this race 19th in points. A lot of those in front of you: Matt Sisler, Philip Snipes, Ryan Hill, Jonathan Hernandez struggled tonight, so you're definitely going to gain positions on them to kind of gain up into that. North of Wilkesboro in next week's race. What's the mentality? What is the shift in focus for North Wilkesboro coming up, knowing it's a track that everyone's going to in this series for the first time?
Well, I'm not the best at North Wilkesboro, but I think the idea is to try to just keep the car clean and save my stuff, because it's going to be hard to make passes there, as many places, so track position will be very, very important. But hopefully I can avoid any incidents and maybe take some advantage of some possible mistakes people might make to get around them, but who knows what will happen.
A phenomenal effort here for the 2-car here tonight. Before we let you go and let you celebrate your first podium of the season, Evan, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a breakthrough moment, and hopefully we get to see a lot more from that blue car, that blue number 2, throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you. I hope so as well. Just want to shout out all my friends watching and my buddy Potak for winning again. Happy for him. He's been helping me out a lot, so it's glad to see him go out there and take the win once again.
Absolutely a fantastic job. 2 Dodges on the podium here at the Dodge Charger 500. Evan Locke, the 3rd place car. The Blue Deuce on the podium once again. Evan, enjoy the podium, and we'll be seeing you again in North Carolina next weekend.
See y'all then. Thank you for having me.
That was Evan Locke, the 3rd place finisher in this field. You see the battle at the front we saw throughout this race, the 44 and the 22. We'll talk to the bridesmaid, Tyler Head, the 44 car, the former champion of the series. So close to a race win here at Darlington, having to settle for 2nd place. Once again, Tyler, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. What a race. That was a fight. A little bit of elbows out, a little bit of everything. But it looked like a lot of fun, at least from up here in the booth. What was it like for the 44 camp?
Oh yeah, certainly a ton of fun. Kicking myself for the choice on pit road there the last time we came down. I really thought more people would take 2 tires to gobble up some track position with limited number of laps left and a fairly high chance that some of them get run at 60 miles an hour like we saw. But unfortunately, I was the only one who had confidence in 2, and everybody else had 4. So kind of had the battle with one hand tied behind my back, and the first 3 laps or so when it launched, there was a huge deficit there. It ended up evening out there a little bit, and I felt like I could go back on offense, but that was certainly enough for Potak to get ahead of me, and he was strong all night. He might have been able to get ahead of me if we had straight up tires too. So all in all, the main thing of it is it was a really fun race from where I was sitting. A lot of good battles, hanging it out there, and a good amount of green flag racing there throughout the duration of the race to, really manage your stuff and, manage your slides. So I had a ton of fun.
And for the 44 camp, that's sort of the name of the game here. Obviously, not going for the championship, not trying to make the chase, kind of playing spoiler. Grab your race wins, grab the results where you get them. That being said, it looks like that a lot of fun there. You said it was a lot of fun in the 44 camp. We get an even more difficult racetrack, an even more driver-centric racetrack next weekend with North Wilkesboro. For you, being a former champion, being a driver who's won here at Darlington, and having the fun you're having right now, something new awaits everyone in the Winstel camp here in 7 days' time. Is the 44 going to be there in North Wilkesboro? And if so, how exciting is it to be at North Wilkesboro for the first time with this group of cars, knowing that we're going to have a full 43-car field there in North Wilkesboro for the first time?
Yeah, certainly. I'll be there. All things being equal, as long as nothing life-wise pops up. I think this is the first time since we've done this modern, throwback style thing that we've deviated from what happened in real life as far as tracks that we go to. And I figure if they were racing at North Wilkesboro in 2005, Terry would have been there. So definitely want to show up and hopefully have a little bit more of what we saw today. A lot of close quarters racing, a lot of respectful but tight racing. That's what it's all about. I'm not the kind of guy that, goes out and gets 3 seconds away from the field on pace or anything like that, but I'd much rather be scrapping for everything I can get than running my own race anyway. That's where the fun is. So looking forward to more of that next week.
It's going to be a lot of fun seeing everyone there in North Wilkesboro, the first wild card race of the season as they're being called here for the 2025 campaign. The 44 car looked fantastic here tonight. Obviously a fantastic battle with everyone in that front group. A lot of laps led tonight as well. Before we let you go, let you celebrate the podium and get ready for North Wilkesboro in 7 days' time, Tyler. You know the drill. If there's anyone who'll shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. It's always fun seeing that 44 car, especially given the throwback nature we saw this weekend. Not much better of a throwback than what you've got on your car already. the floor is yours.
Yeah, just the usual suspects to shout out to. You for the broadcasting and everybody that puts their oomph behind it, producing-wise. Shout out to everybody who participated in this race. Very tough track, and I think pretty respectable showing through and through. Not without its faults, of course, but you have a race at Darlington with that much action, you got a pretty good time. The admins that make everything happen, and then I'll tip the cap to Mr. Potak, who won this thing, and get out of the way so he can talk about it.
Absolutely a fantastic job for Tyler Head, second place here in the 44 Chevrolet. We'll see him again in North Carolina if everything lines up correctly. Tyler, enjoy it, and we'll see you again very soon, and get the show on the road once again.
Thank you very much.
That was Tyler Head, the second place finisher here tonight. We'll move on to our race winner. First repeat winner in 2025 is none other than the driver of the 22 Bill Davis Racing Dodge. How appropriate to win the Dodge Charger 500. Jacob Potak for the second time this season, putting a stamp of authority on the point standings going into North Wilkesboro next weekend. You had a wild battle here throughout this race. Jacob, walk us through it.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. It was really, really hard to pass, and I spent the first half of the race making failed attempts to pass, and then figured out how to do it, I guess, and put it to good use at the end.
This is a track where passing obviously is something that is more of a premium, not something you see a whole bunch of, especially once you get to the front of the field. That car had a lot of pace all night long, though. To be able to get a race win here at Darlington, we brought up the analogies on the broadcast of, to win the championship, to be in championship contention, you typically have to win a place like Darlington. You've won a place like Darlington, you've won a place like Fontana earlier this season. What does that say about where the 22 car is right now? We talked to you last time in Fontana. You said, yeah, we're going to try to go for it. Does this kind of double down of, okay, we really can go for it here because we just did something that no one else has done yet? And looking at North Wilkesboro, another track that's going to be very difficult, another driver-centric track, is that 22 in a place where you can possibly try and go and grab multiple of these race wins at these driver-centric tracks to build that momentum towards the chase?
Yeah, if we're not winning, I feel like we're going to be close. It's just been really, really, really dialed in with these setups all year. Like, feel like first half of the race, just figuring out how it's running, and then just been getting really lucky with the strategy, I feel like, and also learning how these races are ebbing and flowing and taking advantage of strategies I wouldn't usually use. So I feel like it's not just raw pace, it's also being really in tune with the way these races play out, shake out, and getting to the front out of all of it.
Well, the saying we always usually run from here is that luck's the intersection of talent and opportunity. We've seen the talent and we've seen the opportunity come together for you here twice now already this season, with 2 wins on the board in 6 races. North Wilkesboro coming up next. First time the modern Winstel era has visited North Wilkesboro. What's the excitement level like going into that race, knowing it's the first wild card of the season?
I'm really excited. I really love North Wilkesboro. Been to races there in real life, so was happy to see it on the schedule. I'm gonna not be too excited about getting mired in the middle of the pack potentially, and a lot of wrecks happening and stuff, because that track is really, really, really difficult in any car, and I've never ran it in these cars. I don't think many of us have, so I see the potential for a lot of calamity, but I'll see the potential for a lot of fun.
We're going to lean on the fun side of things next weekend and be optimistic going into North Carolina once again, just up the coast here on the east side of the United States. Before we let you go and let you fully celebrate your race win here in Darlington, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A lot of fun watching you battle all night long. A lot of fun watching you battle all season long. Take it away.
Oh yeah, just want to say thanks again to you guys for a great broadcast. Didn't get to chat with y'all the last 2 weeks, so I was missing y'all, so good to catch up. Thanks to Winstel for putting it on. It was a great setup and a great race. Shout out to Tyler. It was a really fun battle. He held on really well with those 2 tires. And shout out to Evan. He got a really good finish too. So thanks, guys.
So a fantastic job, Jacob. Hopefully get to talk to you again next week in North Wilkesboro. Your race winner for the second time this season. Jacob Potak wins in Darlington to round things off the first 6 races. Jacob Potak, a championship contender by every measure of the definition. And with that, we'll go through our running order here. 46 cars attempted to run here in Darlington. 43 made the field. We'll go through all of it here to end off the broadcast, as I'm going to check to make sure to see what we're doing on YouTube and if that's still going, because they were at Martinsville tonight. So give me 1 second to check on that while we get the results pulled up here. Jacob Potek, Tyler Head, Evan Locke, front and center on the field. They were your podium finishers here from Darlington Raceway. Dylan Roberts and Emily Howe rounding out your top 5. Emily Howe staying top 4 in points healthily here tonight. Brandon McKissick had the drive through the field to get to 6th. Ashley Kolinick's first race of the season for the 45 camp. A phenomenal effort, 7th place for the Petty Enterprise. Number 45, Jeremy Davis, a good run as well. Most positions gained 32 positions throughout the race when it was all said and done. Qualified 45th, but remember 3 cars did not start this race, so ended up starting 42nd. 32 positions gained for Jeremy Davis. Ryan Doucette, P9 for car 13. Didn't leave the top 10 ever in this race, just didn't have the race winning pace there in that 13 Dodge. Brandon Coppinger, the rookie. Feast or famine season, a little bit of feasting here tonight for the number 66 camp. Gabriel Mauricio, damaged race car, no problem, top 11 for him. Christina Ryan, her best run of the season, P12 for the 88 camp, ahead of Christian Budd, the defending series champion. Jose Solis Jr. led most of this race, ended up with a bad pit strategy, ended up down at 36th, climbed all the way back up to 14th place. A great recovery drive for him. He will hold on to the points lead going into North Wilkesboro. Philip Snipes, Steve Brown, Brendan McGee, Kyle Benson, Sean Pellig. Props to Sean Pellig for finally finishing a race here in the first 6 races. His bad luck streak seemingly at least slowing down. Hopefully it leads to better things in North Wilkesboro in 7 days' time. 19th for him. Mike Rasmus, a never-ending skid down to 20th place for that Level 0 car. Brandon Cruz, 21st. Jordan Barabee, up and down night. Down when it mattered most, unfortunately, for the 41 camp. His first time at Chip Ganassi Racing. Something to build on. He's ahead of his teammate, Alex Bates, 24th. The 32, Matt Taylor, in between him in 23rd. Tom Willett, 25th. Austin Reedy, a bad night for him, all things considered. Started off not great, didn't get better. Matt Sisler got run over twice later in this race. Somehow, still recovered to finish 27th. Thomas Lewandowski in 28th on his return from the 21 car to the 1 car, from Wood Brothers to DEI. Lewandowski 28th, Parker Alexander 29th after being collected early in this race, just never fully recovered in that Budweiser Chevrolet. Alex Chilcutt spun 3 times tonight. He is the spinning top of the race. 30th place for the Netgear number 0, ahead of Ryan Andrew, who had a wild ride of his own. The 01 car ahead of Chris Champeau, Tyler Murray 33rd, Anthony Krobach 34th, Lucas Davila in 35th position ahead of Kirk Marble, Corey Steinhauser 37th, Andrew Ratcliffe 38th. He was the trampoline of the race, sending Evan Mounson sky high. Mounson ends up 40th, not on the lead lap. Neither was Jonathan Hernandez, who ended up 39th. Nick Doucette, our last finisher of this race, ahead of Andrew Griesbaum and Andrew Ferrineers, our only 2 retirements here in Darlington. Craig Laudenslager, Hayden Rapus, and Chris Bishop failed to qualify. They'll have to try again next week in North Wilkesboro to make the field in North Carolina at a track that is just as hard, just as difficult as Darlington, but as short as Bristol. It is going to be a wild time here on ABN. Right here on Twitch on Wednesday, it's the ABN Champ Car World Series from the streets of Long Beach. The ABN Grand Prix of Long Beach, the 6th annual ABN Grand Prix of Long Beach on Wednesday, 8 p.m. On YouTube right now, we have the ARCS A-Square Cup Series right now from Martinsville. It has been a wild race there. If you want to join us there on YouTube, you're welcome to. We invite you to. If not, we'll see you on Wednesday from Long Beach, California. On behalf of everyone here for Winstel Cup Series competition, for Winstel Racing and all of its partners, and everyone here at ABN Studios, my producer behind the screens, Anity Pulsatrix, we're glad to have her back after the last couple weeks. I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for joining us here from South Carolina. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tonight here in Martinsville on YouTube, or Wednesday at Long Beach. So long, everybody.